Welcome. Hello, everybody, once again to another episode of the Phizcast, on which we are very quickly approaching the 20th episode. Not, not very quickly, because I'm terrible at keeping a recording schedule, but we are getting there. And that is slowly but surely becoming a problem for me, because remember that creativity deficit that I talked about recently? Yeah, it's coming into play because I really don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to keep this up by myself. Now, I would genuinely love it if you could, like, if you have my Discord or whatever, you could DM me an idea of what to talk about, or if you want to leave a comment down below and tell me what I should talk about. I think that would be an amazing thing to do, because it would help me out a lot. Because it's not that there's things that I'm running out of things to talk about, but like there's a lot of things that I think I shouldn't talk about, not because they're like offensive or uh like because I don't have too much information on them, but because I just don't know if it would fit the mood that I've established of what this podcast is and what I want it to be. So because of that, I would like to send it to my small but lovely audience and tell me what you think I should do. What should be going on with what you want to see in these episodes. Um yeah. Currently in my budget recording studio, also known as my bed, it's rather dark. I mean, I have a lamp turned on, but if I were to turn that lamp off, it would be pitch black. Sans the alarm clock in the left corner of the room. Now, that's interesting to me. I enjoy the peacefulness of the dark sometimes. Not for very long. I mean, the door's open and I can hear my family downstairs. And there's light down there, and I know that I can go down there easily. So I know I'm not alone. However, if I were to be alone, this would be substantially less peaceful. I am cripplingly autophobic, which is the fear of being alone or being left alone. Um, I hate it so much. I hate it so much to the point where I get massively, massively paranoid about being alone at all in any capacity. Like, I have to take the garbage out sometimes, and it's a healthy walk. It's not like fine, but the thing is, unless I ask someone to, no one is watching me when I'm out there. No one I know is watching me anyway. That's what scares me. I was watching some of those, like, those phobia trigger videos where they have images and creepy music in the background. I was watching an autophobia trigger video, which, like only half of them really worked to do the thing, but the comments were scary as well. Not like morbidly terrifying, like intentionally scary, but just the fact that they were explaining it so accurately that it was nice to know that I'm not alone in this. But it was also taking a deeper dive into why really I am afraid of being alone. And it's mostly because I'm afraid of not being alone. I'm afraid of thinking I'm alone while the whole time someone or something is there. And it's not a very good feeling being paranoid, because when you are paranoid, you get super hyper alert. Every little noise, every little trigger around you becomes amplified tenfold, simply because you want to survive. You want to make it out of whatever situation it is, because that's how the brain has evolved. You get this adrenaline boost, and it prevents you from enjoying yourself. Like, I can't put earbuds in because I need to hear everything around me. It is hard for me to watch videos at all because of how hyper alert I think I need to be in order to continue living. That sounded kind of dark. Disregard that. In order for me to make it out of that situation okay, I don't want to be paranoid, but I feel like I have to be because I'm just hardwired to want to be with other people. I'm a social butterfly. I'm an extrovert. I have explained this in past episodes, but yes, I very much do not like being alone. And it's not that I'm afraid of being like sad and lonely for the rest of my life, because I know that that's entirely in my control. I can be the one to go out and meet other people and talk to people and engage socially and be that person. I'm not afraid of that. I am just simply afraid of what the spooky scaries that can get me in the dark. Which is another principle. I used to think I was nyctophobic as well, which is the fear of the dark. I used to think I was until I realized that I am perfectly capable of being in pitch blackness with other people because it becomes more of an entertaining experience for me. However, they were to leave me in that situation alone. That's when I become paranoid. That's when I become scared. Either that or the person next to me has fallen asleep and I feel like I have to take on that hyper alertness in order to make it out. Isn't that strange? How the whole time it was a fear acting as another one. And it convinced me so very much, because being afraid of the dark is incredibly common. But even then, I have sort of boiled it all down to I'm not afraid of what is there. I'm afraid of what isn't there. And not even what isn't there, what could be. It is horrifying to me, the fact that my brain thinks of situations or creatures, animals, anything that is more dangerous than whatever reality can throw at me. Because it makes me realize that I am irrationally afraid, and being irrationally afraid is much more impossible to deal with, because you become like it's not as easy to calm down because you can't logic your way out of that. If your brain has convinced you that something is there that really isn't, you don't know that, and you can't logic your way out of it because, like, movie monsters or whatever. The Nun, the exorcism thing or whatever. I don't know. Things like that. If you have been convinced, like right now, okay, I'm sorry to get off topic, but right now I'm literally getting chills and terrible talking about it. I was hesitating even saying the name of the creatures because I'm just so horrified and paranoid of it. And my feet are exposed and I feel horrible. I mean, I'm literally just watching them, making sure that nothing happens. And then I can feel that whenever I lift my feet off of the bed, the bottoms of them get cold. And I have to make sure that doesn't happen, but I move them and it becomes super uncomfortable. And it's just a whole vicious cycle. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that goes through this, but like, this is the worst. Anyway, things like that. I'm scared of that. I'm not scared of the bear that could be outside my tent. I'm not scared of the spiders that can kill me in my sleep with a bite. Because I can logic my way out of that. I can say that there are survival tactics against bears. There are not. Sorry, I'm getting paranoid again. There are not spiders in my bed because I sit here all the time. And I'm fine. I've been fine. I've been fine this whole time. So there's no reason to be afraid. However, I keep driving myself deeper and deeper into this notion that something is trying to get me. That something is trying to get me. And it's not fun. It really isn't. That's just the way I can sum it up. It's quite a bad experience. And I really wish that I could get over it, that I could just move on. But I suppose that's much easier said than done. And this is mostly in my head. I'm very easily influenced by, those movies, those commercials. So whenever I see stuff like that, the problem with it is I am obsessed with it. I love that feeling of being horrified. All of those Three Scary Games, I've binged every, what is it? It's like 63 now. I've watched all of those. I love the Crypt TV stuff. I love watching Found Flicks and Dead Meat and all that stuff. It's just what happens later on when I get inside my own head about it and convince myself that something just paranormal and unreal and just immensely dangerous and terrifying is targeting me. That is when it gets bad, which you've experienced. You've just now heard me getting scared of that. It's terrible. But I do this as I record alone. Anyway, that's been 10 minutes. This is not at all what I was going to talk about today. I, in fact, was going to talk about humor and the types of it and how I find it interesting, but I suppose that'll have to wait for another time. I don't even know how I started on this. Maybe I'll hear it in post, but that's cool. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. This will be spooky scary if you ever want to come back and get the chills or hear me narrate an audiobook. At any rate, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.